Hey guys, so last night I went to a really cool Monday night speaker meeting, and it was Monday night. So in downtown St. Pete, there's this jazz bar, cigar bar, that does a really cool Monday night jazz, and it's always super packed, and it's really fun and really authentic, like good music. Like it's really like and they have all these jazz artists, and it's really fun. And I really wanted to do that before I left St. Pete, because it was one of my favorite things to do in St. Pete, was go to this jazz bar, Ruby's, and listen to the music and just be immersed in this whole different culture. And I went to this meeting, and I was with another friend in recovery. We had got dinner and went to this meeting together, the speaker meeting, so inspiring. And afterwards I was like, I want to go to Ruby's, I think, but I don't know, and I just had this feeling that I just was trying to reason things out, like I can handle it, it's my last week in St. Pete, I should just do it, I can handle it. It's a bar, and it's right next to a bunch of bars, and it's downtown, so I was like, I can handle it. I can handle it. It's okay, buddy. And I was reasoning it out with my friend. She was like, and she was just pissing me off, honestly, about it. And so that was like my first clue that something was wrong, was I was getting irritable. And then I was like saying, I'm going to call my sponsor and see what she thinks. And she was like, well, if you have to call your sponsor, then it's probably not a good idea. And I was like, screw you. I just like to talk to my sponsor, maybe, and I was just getting irritable. And then I realized, like, you know what? If I have to, hey, it's okay. If I have to reason out so hard, if I have to think so hard about whether or not I can go to a bar, I probably shouldn't go. Like, if I have to justify it, and I'm obviously not ready to be around a bunch of alcohol and that kind of lifestyle right now. I'm pretty fresh, so I didn't go, and I felt really good about it. I went home and I called my sponsor, and I was like, yo, like, when I'm ready I can go to a jazz bar, but I cannot afford to be in such a tempting place. I cannot afford right now, in the state that I am in like this delicate place. I cannot, and especially moving to New York and like starting a new life, I cannot afford to relapse. I do not want to relapse. And like the risk and the reward from relapsing versus going to go to a jazz bar. Atlas, can you stop? Buddy. Is this not worth it? So I didn't go, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And I woke up nice and early, and I just feel really good about that decision. And it's huge, because like my cyclical thinking of relapse is, I think I can handle it, and then I get there into the environment. I'm in the place, and we're with people or doing things that I used to do when I was like using all the time, and that would have been one of those people. That would have been one of the places, and the things I was doing is surrounded by people that like I used to use around, and I've done some crazy shit at Ruby's, and I really don't need to. I didn't need to go, so I didn't go, and I feel good about it. So, whew, okay, cool. One thing, she asked me to read my sponsor asked me to read a couple stories from the book, and it was really, I read one of them, and it was really interesting, and it was really relatable. It's called Freedom from Bondage. And and another thing she wanted me to do, and something that she asked me to do when I first called her and asked her to be my sponsor when I was in New York City, and I was like, I had hit my rock bottom, and I was like ready to call my sponsor and submit and work the steps and do the program. When I was in New York City, she told me to write the 10, it kind of like an insurance list. So like if you ever feel like using or relapsing or doing something, just to review the top 10 things where you were powerless, and like where you just had good intentions to have a good time, or like the 10 worst things that happen to you because of drugs and alcohol. And I thought it'd be a good story time. So I'm gonna a lot of these are really personal and hard, so I'm gonna build up to it. I don't know if I'm going to end up sharing some of them, but the one that I want to share with you guys today is when I was 15, I was arrested at this art studio, this abandoned Pilates studio in St. Pete, above Panera. Me and my first boyfriend that like got me into drugs and stuff. My boyfriend that got me into drugs and or like introduced me to drugs and that way of life, and his best friend, bless his soul, because he's so he's pretty much gone now. He pretty much lost his mind, and I actually watched him lose his mind after too many psychedelics. It triggered some kind of schizophrenia, some kind of mental disease that he has not returned from, and that is really sad. And so we would always sneak into this abandoned Pilates studio, and we would hang out there. And one weekend we went there. I remember I wasn't allowed to leave the house, so I was begging my parents, and I was on Molly, and I was begging my parents to go so I could hang out with a friend, sleep over at a friend's house. And my dad thought I was like having a manic episode, and I was just on Molly and having a manic episode. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. We're gonna leave soon. So I was in my parents' bed in the middle of the night on Molly, insisting that they let me go past my curfew to stay at a friend's house. I have to go. In reality, I just wanted to go see my boyfriend and his friend at this abandoned Pilates studio and like get fucked up. And hey, it's okay. So I snuck out anyways because my parents were like no. So I snuck out and I went there, and we did copious amounts of Molly, and I hope it was Molly. It might have been meth, to be honest with you. I have no fucking idea like what it was. Looking back, like the drugs that my boyfriend at the time were bringing back to me and my friends, I don't know. I think I don't know what they were. He just told me they were things, and like I believed him because I was 15 and I didn't know anything about drugs yet. I just knew they made me feel good. So we went to the abandoned Pilates place. I went to this abandoned Pilates place, and we had been really like loud, and we're having like gross like Molly sex and like being gross, and just doing things that like I thought were fun because I was 15, and I just didn't know any better. And I just really wanted to escape from my life, and I was always trying to fix a feeling, and I was always discontent and restless, and I always wanted to be doing something. So I went, and the next day the police come in. Somebody tips them off that there's like people staying in this abandoned Pilates studio. There was an art studio next door, and I imagine that was them that called the police. I had a Polaroid camera, so I had like nude pictures of me, like Polaroids of me being 15, so that's like child porn. And we got arrested, and me and the friend we had to go to court or whatever. They decided we got arrested, but we got let go because our parents picked us up. So our parents picked us up, and it was fine, but we still were facing these charges of trespassing and like stuff like that. So one of the conditions for me to like let this charge go was to never see my friend again. It was to stay out of contact with him. Not my boyfriend, my friend. Because my boyfriend got away with it. Like his papers or all his charges got like lost. But me and my friend couldn't see each other. At the time we were really close, and I told them straight up, like, I'm not doing it. I don't give a shit, I'm not doing it. You have to come up with some other conditions. I had to have a curfew, I had all these different like stipulations, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I've always been that way. Like, if I'm not doing something, I'm not fucking doing something. And somehow, some way, the charges got dropped, and I continued seeing my friend, and so being arrested for the first time was one of the top 10 worst things on Molly. Like being on Molly in front of cops, like, is it after trespassing and like waiting for your parents to pick you up. that is like not fun. And that was one of the beginning. That was like, and my uncle was there, came with my dad to pick me up, and they were just so disappointed in me, and I was just like, whatever, and I didn't give a shit because I was so ego in maniac. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't feel any freaking shame about it. I was like, oh well, happens, you know, this is part of the life I live now. And that was like the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the end for sure. So obviously, I don't know, there must be a higher power, because I would have gone to little kid jail if there wasn't a higher power that like got rid of my papers, or like lost the papers, or dropped the charges. And I'm really grateful for that. So there's that story time. I think that's that story. And I'm gonna do a video for each of these 10 things. That's one of the top 10 worst things that happened to me when I was just trying to have fun. I had good intentions. I just wanted to have a good time, but it ended up really poorly. So yeah, that also like sparked the beginning of me like going to institutions and being sent to places a lot as a teenager. So yeah, stay tuned for more crazy stories.